look at you, you naughty thing. You just clicked on a video that said sex positions. We're like a couple middle schoolers every time we have a video that is anyway about sex. And we're glad you stopped by for part of the conversation. Before we dive in though, do us a favor and hit subscribe on this YouTube channel so you can be the first to know every time a new video comes your way. And we talk about all different kinds of topics related to marriage, not just sex, even though today we are talking about sex. And in sex positions, we're not just talking about positions in terms of him on top, her on top, this, that, whatever, like Kama Sutra kind of stuff, even though, get creative and
talk about that, for sure.
Yeah, stretch and whatever else you need to do to make all that possible. But
get ready.
We're talking more about positions in terms of understanding each other's perspective and what each person likes and needs and starting the conversation there.
Because that's, sex, the best sex is sex between a husband and a wife that really have talked through things that are connected on all levels, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, and that happens through conversation. And so, we always say intimacy doesn't start in the bedroom, it starts outside of the bedroom, and it's really through both of us expressing what we like, what we dislike, maybe things from our past, different kind of perspectives we have on sex that we really are trying to change, because we all come into marriage with certain perspectives on sex and expectations based on really what we saw in our own childhood and kind of like how we were raised and the view that was presented to us when it comes to sex, whether or not we were talking about it a lot in our family or at all, like what I came from. We've talked about this, and that's a lot of families. And so it's important to talk through these things and really be open to what your spouse wants to share with you, but also be willing to talk. We hear from so many couples where they really clam up when it comes to the subject of sex, but God created sex and it is awesome, and it is specifically for marriage, and it is something to be celebrated and enjoyed. And so we have to be willing to have these open and honest conversations.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be fun, by the way, for both people.
Yes.
And so if neither one of you, or if one of you is not enjoying it completely, then you need to really talk about the reasons why. And like Ashley said, a lot of times that comes from your perspective you brought into marriage about sex, baggage from the past perhaps. Maybe you were raised in a rigid environment where you were taught that sex was somehow dirty or something that you aren't really supposed to enjoy. It's just part of your duty. And that is a terrible way to perceive and to teach about sex. The truth is, God made it as this beautiful gift that's meant to be enjoyed. And so if you are looking at sex as just a chore, or you're looking at it as something that you kind of dread because of whatever, because of your own body image issues, because of fear or apprehension or shame or baggage or regret over your own past or whatever it might be, you need to bring all that out in the open and really talk about it. If one spouse is always, wanting to get more creative in the bedroom and wanting to try new positions and try new things, and the other spouse doesn't want to ever do anything, then there can be a tension point there too. And both spouses have to feel heard, they have to feel respected, and the bedroom needs to be the safest place on earth for both of you to enjoy yourselves. And like I said, if you're not both enjoying sex, looking forward to sex, and connecting in every way, physically, spiritually, emotionally, with that beautiful, intimate gift God created, then talk about the reasons why. And don't talk about it in the moment. Talk about it over breakfast. Talk about it on a walk. Just say, what would it look like if our sex life was everything that it could be? Like, what would that look like? And what can we do differently to help get there?
And I think you need to talk about if one spouse is always the initiator, you need to switch that up. It shouldn't be one spouse always saying, hey, do you want to make love tonight? It should be both spouses initiating. But I think sometimes maybe that spouse that is always wanting to initiate doesn't even give the other spouse a chance. And so you got to talk about that and say, listen, I want to initiate, but you always beat me to it, right? I can't even get a chance to. Or maybe talk about if the one spouse is always kind of disgruntled when their spouse wants to make love, maybe it's because it's the time of day. Maybe it's not their time of day when they have the most energy. And so you have to be able to talk about that and say, listen, the reason that it seems like I'm kind of not excited about having sex when you ask me to is not because I don't want to, because I really do want to. It's just that I'm exhausted. Like by the time you want to initiate, I'm exhausted. So what would it look like if we tried it another time of day? And also, a lot of times there's one spouse that wants to have more frequency than the other spouse. And that's okay, that's most marriages. But the bottom line is there's no magic number. It's gonna be different for every couple. The bottom line is you need to be having sex regularly. And so I would encourage you, we all lead busy lives. I would encourage you to put it on the calendar. Put a little heart and make it a regular part of your day. If you have kids, like, do not write sex on the calendar. That's really going to get their attention and make them confused. But you want to make it a regular part of your week, of your schedule. And when we prioritize things, they happen.
Man, that's good. I'm gonna get on my calendar right now and just start putting hearts all over the place.
Every day.
Hey, listen, guys, we talk a lot more about issues related to sex and marriage on this YouTube channel, so hit subscribe right here. You can also find us on the Naked Marriage Podcast, or go to xomarriage.com for a full website of all kinds of resources and live events to help with your marriage. We'll look forward to seeing you next time.
Bye, guys.